Hello everyone, welcome back to Grand Summoners. Alright everyone, welcome back to this game, and today we're going to be talking about some very helpful facts that might help you out, and it's all just general and an overall helpful video, I hope at least, and all these facts will be able to help you out if you just so happen to actually come across these scenarios and such. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the video. Our first fact here is that arts can't actually be activated if you chain it with a special arts. So what does that mean? That means that really the only way that you're going to get arts to actually activate is if you fill arts gauge to all allies with a normal equipment or with a balance equipment. That really is it. There is nothing else. Those are the only two arts that you can give Rimuru where you can actually give it back with the super arts. So that means if your teammate gives you a nuke equipment or a nuke units, a support equipment, if they give you a status element resistance or if they give you a bad status element reduction, and because they're too far away, that means you're not actually going to be able to activate arts. You cannot activate this unless they give you a normal equipment or a balanced equipment. So keep that in mind. If you're playing with, let's say, a war hero Finn and he uses super arts, you are not going to be able to actually nuke that, heal back to nuke units or to the support. So again, keep that in mind. You cannot use arts if you try to chain it with a special art. Alright, so fact number 2, you can actually chain skill with an arts. So this means that if a support gives you an arts or if Dark Finn gives you an arts gauge, you can actually use skill to your supports or back to the dealer. You can actually do that if your teammate actually uses arts on you and you do the nuking animation. Immediately flicking the arts button will actually activate arts. So that's actually one more strategy that you can use as well. You can just keep on using arts when your teammate gives you an arts. So that right there is fact number 2. Alright, so we are here on to fact number 3. And fact number 3 is that if you use true arts immediately after a stat boost, even though it looks like you're nuked, you are not going to be nuked. It is to show up as you being contested. It can be super crit. It can be just, what do you call this? It can be a good contest, but you are not going to be nuked. A critical. There you go. It can be a super crit. It can be a crit, but if you use equipment immediately, a true arts, after you just nuked, you are not going to nuke a boss, even though in your difficulty stars, you are nuked. So keep that in mind. If you want to use true arts after you use nuke equipment to your enemy, make sure not to do it immediately or else it will not count as you nuked. As you can see there, I looked like I was actually nuked, but I was not. The game treated it as still being in your face. So again, if you want to nuke after you use true arts, make sure that you nuke it after giving it a little bit more time than usual. As you can see right here, hold on, I'm lagging a little bit there, give it a little bit more time and then actually nuke it. Do not do it immediately or else it will be contested. Alright, we're on to fact number 4, and for this fact, if you flick the arts button while the boss is still being feinted to you, whether it be intentional or accidental, while it's still being feinted to you, you can't actually use the arts anymore. You will nuke it, and you won't be able to stop yourself from nuking it as you saw there. I was not flicking it, but it's still active. It's because I flicked the arts button already while it's still being burned to you, so you will not be able to do anything to stop yourself from nuking. If that happens, it will result in a nuke. As you saw there, I stopped flicking, but it's still active, right? And there's nothing that you can do to actually stop this. If you flick it accidentally, you are going to nuke it. So just brace for impact after that. Let's try it one more time to show you. It's not a fluke code. She's not healing back. We're just not healing back here. As you saw, it just nuked. Even though I was flicking it while it is being burned, you do not flick the arts button, or else you will be forced to use a skill. Alright, so here's fact number 5, and our fact here is firstly fire units has a break ability, and with that a break damage. Now, the fact here comes that after a break damage, if you immediately actually connect it to a high break power, it's actually going to reduce the break resistance of the boss. As you see right there, instead of going in, it's most likely going to pop back out if you immediately connect those breakers with a high break power, because it will actually count as a break for the boss. Let's do it again. So, you know, it's not just timing. It does happen. It's not just a coincidence. There you go. Instead, what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to do those breaks and then nuke for a bit and then do the arts. So let's do this again. Breaks. And then you need to nuke and then actually go for the true arts. You cannot chain it with the super arts immediately. completely or you will miss. So let's do this. Again, as you see there, it actually went improperly. But let's say you do that and then immediately use True Arts, it is going to pop back out because those breaks will count for your break units. All right, everyone. So here's fact number 6 right here. If you didn't know about Super Arts, actually affect damage. That's right. You're more likely to miss those attacks if you actually do blind. Blinding will affect your damage. It's not going to be as bad as some other deals, but it will still affect the damage. Okay, so you're going to want to use Super Arts as little as possible. If you are actually planning to use Super Arts from Alpha, you are going to want to keep your equipment in a cooldown because it does affect your accuracy rate. Don't worry though, this only affects damage. Normal damages are still going to be on effect, but it will affect the effect of Super Arts, and you are going to miss the attack more likely if you just use skills. Now for fact number 7. So arts or special arts. Some special arts can only be activated by certain people. So for example, Miyu needs a super art for her to actually activate. Crit buff! As you can see here, I'm just doing normal crit and super crit, or the super crit still didn't activate, but since I did a crit, now super crit didn't activate, so let's do that again. I do crit, but super crit's not going to activate, so if we do this, it does actually activate. So this is different for every skill. For example, for Nuke, for Sunraku, different critical you are going to be required to actually move from a further distance, as far as I know. Super crit is the only nuke animation that requires a lot of super crit rate to actually work, to actually prompt, and the others actually require a long range nuke. So again, special arts can only be prompted by certain pixel art animations for different units, so some require super crit rate, while some require crit rate. So, on to our 8th fact. If you didn't know this, Nuke actually makes it so that it's easier to kill giant boss at a higher difficulty. It actually does. If Nuke doesn't help you nuke bosses at a higher difficulty, it actually does help you out nuking bosses at a higher difficulty. So I actually found this out when I was using my max nuke Shion against a boss, and I nuke. I'm not sure. I didn't use Trial Arts, way too late. But I did use Trial Arts slightly nuked than what it's needed for you to actually nuke its arts, and I actually was still able to nuke it. So yes, giving more damage to your enemies will make it a little easier for you to nuke bosses because you will be able to nuke it at a higher difficulty. It will allow you to use True Arts a little bit more late than usual. So again, Nuke makes it so that you can actually kill bosses a little more difficult than usual. So, fact number 9, if you use, how you might be wondering, well, why can't I nuke some of these bosses? You know, it looks like you're actually nuking at a perfect time and a perfect distance, and for some reason, you just can't nuke any bosses well. The Zeor's nuke reach is one of the worst in the entire game. This nuke reach is just terrible compared to other units. Not only is this damage negation so slow, but it reaches just pitiful. It's the same problem that Zeorg used to have. Actually, Zeorg used to have a terrible nuke animation. You couldn't reach any nuke or any units at all when you're nuking, and it's the same with Zeorg. His nuke animation is just so bad. Or reach, I should say, his nuke reach is probably one of the worst in the entire game. And no, it's not you just bugging, or you suck at nuking. No, Zeorg legitimately had terrible nuke reach, and that's why you're probably not able to prompt it. And you know what? While we're at it, let's talk about it. In general, none of his skills actually synergize with each other. Arts and True Arts though. Not synergize because you need Santa Shion to autofill Arts gauge at all times, but True Arts just makes it so that you can nuke from further, so it doesn't even help you out. And True Arts doesn't help either that much, because guess what? Zeorg's nuke range is one of the worst in the entire game. And not only that, but True Arts is one of the most easiest arts to actually stop in the entire game. So Zorg in general is just so unlucky. Not only did his skills not synergize at all with his entire equipment, but overall, he just has some of the worst abilities in the entire game, man. They have to rework Zorg, but again, you don't suck at nuking with, you don't suck at nuking if you can't get a nuke. Zorg literally just has the worst nuking range in the entire game. Your recovery is just straight up pitiful, man. You are not able to nuke properly with this guy. And lastly, on our entire list of facts, fact number 10, if you can't can't nuke any bosses at all if they just keep phasing through you. In all honesty, there's a good chance that it's not actually your fault. It's just that the game is actually lagging at the moment. It actually happens to me here and there as well. It happens here and there. It's not always there, but if I do start, or if an enemy does start phasing through me, most of the time it's because I'm genuinely delayed. Even if you look like you have good ping, you can actually still be delayed. I call it invisible lag. But yeah, if that happens, even if you use ours properly at the right time, you're going to be delayed, and you are not going to get that nuke. If you are having this problem, here's a good way to actually see if it is true for you. Watch a game where you couldn't nuke a single boss as you farm giant points. See it for yourself and see if you're actually nuking delayed on your replay. Because I did it, and yes, I was actually nuking late on my solos. Because guess what? In the game it was fine, but apparently no, it was actually delayed. So if you are struggling or nuking and they just keep phasing through, this is a good way to check it. In all honesty, you might actually just be like lagging. You might be delayed and it's not your fault, so that's another fact. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this has been helpful. I hope that you've been entertained somehow. Go subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.